Hi everyone, in this video there's just going to be one topic, and that's going to be my squats. And what I have noticed I've noticed for the last couple workouts, particularly when I record from the side, but it's something that I didn't worry about too much, but something that I want to kind of focus on now, and that's kind of the butt wink that I tend to have when I get to the very bottom of my squat. And I don't think it's a mobility thing, I just think it's my anatomy. Once I get to that point, that butt wink just will happen. But one of the ways I'm trying to prevent myself from getting to that point where I have a butt wink is to listen to my body when I'm going to the bottom part of my squat, and then as soon as I feel myself lose, because when I get to that butt wink, it's not so much that it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna destroy my back or do something like that. I'm sure it's not the best thing for your back to do, and that's one of the factors why. But a big change that I've noticed since I made a couple of mechanical adjustments in the last workout is that my power out of the hole is a lot better, and I feel a lot more tighter when I'm popping back up from my squat than I was when I was doing full ass to grass squats. But you'll notice in this video it's not as if my depth is like right to parallel and back up, but it's basically squatting down to where it's comfortable and then popping back up as fast as I can. And it's really about feeling it. And I think once I get the Olympic shoes in and start messing around with those, perhaps I'll be able to get a little bit deeper with my depth. Perhaps not. I'm not sure how those will exactly affect my mechanics, but I think for me, one of the benefits to cutting down my depth, and it's maybe like an inch or two of less depth when I'm squatting, and I think that my overall squat just looks a lot better as far as my form goes, and I'm able to do multiple reps a lot easier. And I'm just with weights that were heavier before and I kind of grinded before, I definitely feel like I'm able to get through that sticking point a lot more. And a big thing with that is when my butt winks, I kind of feel like I lose abdominal pressure, and when I was making that slight adjustment, I felt like I was a lot tighter with my stomach and able to kind of push back up a lot easier with that transition in between the bottom and the top part was a lot smoother with that. And you kind of notice, because I'll play the 365 pounds that I did for two sets of two, which it actually felt pretty good. But when I did a drop set, I messed around with my mechanics a little bit because I didn't want to do anything with my top sets, just because that's an extra variable that you don't need to throw in with when you're doing top sets is mechanical adjustments. But when I did my drop sets, I definitely felt a difference with how I was doing, and it wasn't as if the wink disappeared, and it's not as if my butt wink is like crazy horrible, the worst thing in the world, but it's something that I don't really, it's more of an aesthetic thing, and I know it's bad, but it's not really like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried about this butt wink. It's kind of like a little bit of backgrounding, although backgrounding can put more strain on your back, and I'm sure butt winking does the same thing. But it's more as I really like how my form looks when I'm worried about preventing the butt wink, and also my tension in my stomach and torso is a lot better, so I'm able to pop up a lot easier. And I just started recording things from the side, and I'll be doing that a lot more as I can. It's more difficult at the gym that I'm at now just because there's squat racks and stuff beside me, and sometimes other people are lifting, so I don't like to get in the way of them. But it's a focus that I have now. And more generally, I'll wrap up this video with this point. I think that with anyone that's lifting, that you should be recording at least a little bit. I do kind of record a lot of what I'm doing just because I like to get a lot of lifting clips to include in these kind of videos. But I do think it's important for people to lift or to record when they're lifting, especially if their goal is to build strength or if they are lifting heavy weights in general, because I think it's important to constantly be trying to improve your form or to tweak your form in order to make it better, and to make sure that your form is looking good and what you're feeling is indicative of what the video shows. And it just can't hurt to look at yourself in the third person, because if you're lifting, you could even see that in the video, perhaps you lifted it really fast and you thought it was like a huge grinder, and it actually moved really well. And it could be different things like that that could give you confidence with what you're doing, or actually show that, wow, like that felt really heavy, but it still moved well. I might need to do a deload for a little bit to help get my mind and body connected a little bit better, different things like that. But it's not going to hurt to record a little bit. It's not something like, if you're not interested in doing YouTube videos and all that sort of shenanigans, it's not as if you have to get a tripod and record everything all the time. But I do think people should record and analyze their own mechanics, because that's one of the best ways to improve in just your squat numbers or deadlift numbers or bench numbers or any sort of lift in your numbers, is with recording and doing your mechanics. And that's one of the things that baffles me with some people that do like Olympic lifts, like a lot of CrossFit people. They'll do like 30 reps of snatches and they don't record any of it, and they have horrible form and different things like that, and it's just, they're just asking for an injury, because that's the biggest thing I think helps when you record, is kind of that prevention of injury, because you can kind of tweak your form to make sure that it's optimal. Like if your back is rounding a lot on deadlifts, you can see that and be able to make those adjustments. Or if bench, if you're having, or if you're squatting, you have a big butt wink, and that's an issue that bothers your lower back or something, you can work to assuage that issue with different things like that. But it allows you to see yourself in the third person, which you can't do, obviously, when you're your own person, and you can fix your mechanics, and it's a huge advantage. I mean, we live in an age where you can record high quality video for really cheap. I mean, you can use your iPhone if you have one, or you can buy a cheap camera that will record lifting stuff quite easily with high quality, and there's not really any excuse not to do it, unless you have a gym that expressly forbids it. And it's not even like you have to post it online. You can just look at it yourself and analyze it. I did that for years when I played baseball, was to analyze my own mechanics to improve my throwing and different things that I was doing, and it helped a lot to be able to see and to try to feel the changes that you're making. And throwing is a lot more complex than a squat, and that makes the video even more beneficial to someone that's squatting, because the adjustments that you make with it, with squat, bench, or deadlift, is a lot more tangible. You can feel it workout to workout, while throwing it took a lot more to get that to change. But yeah, that's really about it that I have for this video. That's been kind of my focus at least the last 2 times that I've squatted, and it will be my focus in the upcoming squat sessions that I have, is kind of preventing that butt wink by cutting my depth down slightly. And also we'll be seeing how squatting with Olympic shoes affects my ability to get down a little bit deeper, because I have noticed that with front squats that I just don't have a butt wink when I go all the way to the bottom, at least from what I've noticed with my front squats. And I think that's just because I'm more upright, and I think that's one of the things with back squat is why my butt winks a little bit, is that as I get to the bottom, I naturally lean forward a little bit just because of the length of my torso, and that kind of creates that butt winking phenomena. But yeah, I'll end this video here, so let me know what you think of the video in the comments down below, and as always, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.